Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Carlos Maurer and I lead Shell's global commercial business, the B2B arm of Shell that markets a range of products, from motor oils and machine lubricants to jet fuel and bitumen. And we do so to more than 1 million business customers in 150 markets. I'm also a surfer. When you first start surfing, you fall over a lot, and it is tough. But if you keep trying, eventually you get up on that board and you have some real fun. It takes some skill too, some imagination, and a lot of determination. You're probably wondering what that has to do with decarbonization. Overcoming the global decarbonization challenge that we all face today will also take skill, determination, and imagination. The challenge is huge, but together we can do it. Today, many of the energy sources needed for a low-carbon future already exist. Hydrogen, waste-to-energy, and of course renewables like solar and wind. This summit has already focused on many of them. But the key to unlocking such resources is how best to apply and scale them to drive sector decarbonization. Before we begin, a word from our legal team. Today, I'm going to gaze into my crystal ball and talk about the future. With that comes a lot of uncertainty. I am obliged to share the following disclaimer notes with you. Please visit shell.com for more information. Over the next 15 minutes, I want to focus on 3 transport sectors: shipping, aviation, and road freight. Shell has been associated with these 3 sectors for generations, and all 3 are central to the economies in the Middle East. As we all have experienced, the COVID-19 pandemic has created major disruptions in travel, trade, and economic activity, and the impact has been far-reaching in human economic terms. While the ongoing spread of COVID-19 will result in an estimated 8% decline in global CO2 emissions by the end of 2020, emission levels will rebound as global economy recovers. So it is crucial we work together now to tackle the impact of climate change in the process. Before the pandemic hit, shipping, aviation, and road freight accounted for nearly 14% of global CO2 emissions. They also play a vital role in global trade, so all of these sectors will be at the heart of any economic recovery. Shell aims to become a net zero emissions energy business by 2050 or sooner, in step with society and our customers. And we will work towards this ambition in 3 ways. First, we aim to be net zero emissions from making our products. Second, we seek to reduce the carbon intensity of the products we sell. This will mean selling more hydrogen, more biofuels, more renewable electricity. Finally, we as a business that supplies energy will work sectors which use energy, like aviation, heavy freight, and shipping. We will help them find their own path to net zero emission. Shell advocates a 3-tier carbon management approach to emissions: avoid, reduce, and offset. Shell's aim is to lead and thrive through the transition and become an integral part of a net zero emissions future. And our business plans will have to evolve over time in step with the evolving needs and preferences of society and our customers. How can hard-to-abate sectors come together to develop a low-carbon future? We believe sectors seeking to unlock decarbonization solutions should start by exploring 3 key questions. The first question is, why should a sector change? The 2 main factors that need to be considered are customer demand and the regulatory incentives. The second is, what is the sector's potential to change? This requires alignment on technology solutions as well as clarity on the roles of different players within the sector's ecosystem. The final question is, how fast can it change? How easy will it be to replace or upgrade assets in infrastructure? The priorities and readiness to change vary by geography and by sector. Ultimately, a low-carbon future requires close collaboration within sectors and collaboration across sectors. Take hydrogen. Shipping, aviation, and road freight are looking at the viability of hydrogen as a reliable and low-carbon fuel for the future. Other hard-to-abate sectors like steel are also interested. Sectors cannot decarbonize in a vacuum. We need to get to scale to deliver economies of scale. More demand will lead to better supply. Better supply will lead to better infrastructure. And this heightened demand across multiple sectors will help drive innovation, all vital to de-risk investments. In the Netherlands, Shell is looking to put this into practice by building green hydrogen electrolyzers that take the power from our offshore wind farms to produce green hydrogen. This green hydrogen can then be used at our refinery, in other industries, or in transport. It is all about finding where there is demand and creating the infrastructure to meet it. Likewise, the Middle East offers potential for green hydrogen development. The region has seen some of the lowest solar power prices in the world, a trend that could help to form the basis of a future hydrogen industry. But how do we make the fuels of the future the fuels of today? What will help drive change within these sectors? I've already mentioned collaboration. Regulation is another key driver. Right now we're operating in the challenge environment of COVID-19. Around the world, many governments are incorporating green initiatives into their recovery plans to assist their economies overcome the impact of COVID-19. These are important signals for change. Over time, societies want change. Inevitably, large companies will have to respond to the demands of their customers. Publicly listed companies will need to listen to their investors, and governments and state-owned businesses will be held accountable by voters. Finally, we will also need multiple pilot projects in multiple sectors and geographies to make progress. Let me first turn to shipping. The Middle East is home to the Jebel Ali port in Dubai, one of the 10 largest container ports in the world. Shell recently published a report with Deloitte called Decarbonizing Shipping, All Hands on Deck. It draws conclusions from interviews and surveys with 80 senior-level executives from across the global shipping ecosystem. We heard real concerns on the current decarbonization deadlock. We also sense considerable optimism that both the will and the right conditions are emerging for fundamental change. Like many other sectors, what is abundantly clear is that the time to act is now. Of the 12 solutions to unlock decarbonization identified by these leaders, the report concluded that 5 of them need to be prioritized in the next 2 to 3 years. Whether building demand for green shipping, building global regulatory alignment, funding research and development for new fuels, scaling up pilot projects, or industry coordination. We cannot sit back and wait. Our conclusion for reviewing this industry roadmap is that the shipping sector must find fuels for the long-term future, and to do so, we need to act now. At Shell, we are trying to practice this. LNG demand for bunkering is expected to grow significantly and could reach 50 million tons per annum by 2040. To meet this demand, we're working to establish a global LNG bunkering company in the region. Another vital sector in the Middle East is aviation. Today, Qatar Airways, Emirates, and Etihad are household names. Our daily news feeds have been dominated by COVID-19's impact on airlines and airports. Globally, the number of passengers traveling has decreased 69% from January to August, compared to the same numbers last year. That corresponds to some 1.8 billion fewer passengers. As the industry emerges from COVID-19, we believe there will be a renewed ambition to reduce emissions across the sectors. The solutions are complex, but with urgent action and collaboration across the value chain, significant reductions in emissions are possible. In spite of the current challenges, we have seen some many positive signs and developments. A few weeks ago, the Clean Skies for Tomorrow initiative, which was formed by the airlines and other corporations in the industry, called for a package of European policies focused on supporting the growth and use of sustainable aviation fuels. The use of sustainable aviation fuels can help reduce carbon emissions by up to 80%. And in the last few months, Shell has signed a number of deals to develop scalable supply. It is also rewarding to collaborate with cargo carriers. This July, we announced that we will be supplying up to 6 million gallons of blended sustainable aviation fuels to Amazon Air. And finally, road freight, which includes the vans and trucks that deliver goods to shops and homes all over the world. Today, the sector consumes approximately 50% more energy than aviation and shipping combined, and it continues to grow quickly. We're working with Deloitte and with global freight leaders to better understand the barriers to decarbonization, potential solutions, and a plausible decarbonization roadmap. Look out for the report in mid-January. But I can assure you that we already see plentiful demand for change from our road freight customers. For example, Shell is working with a US truck company to build and test a hyper-efficient concept truck using a range of lightweight and energy-efficient materials and technologies. Fitted with solar panels and using specially formulated lubricants, the Starship truck pushed the boundaries and during the first trial runs recorded a near 250% improvement in freight ton efficiency compared with the average North American truck. Last month, we also introduced our specialized range of e-fluids to our truck and bus manufacturer customers. It is designed to meet the technology demands of battery electric and hydrogen commercial vehicles. And in California, as part of our consortium, we're piloting 3 new refueling stations for heavy-duty hydrogen trucks. They are located along a heavily polluted road that connects the Port of Los Angeles with a major warehouse district. The world is changing as demographics shift, transport and digital technology improve, and living standards rise. Society is seeking ways to move to a lower carbon energy system at the same time as its long-term energy demand increases. We must take heart from the fact that 1,000 companies and more than 120 countries have committed to be net zero by 2050. We are at a pivotal moment. Urgency, innovation, and collaboration are key if we are to achieve this ambition. We need to move from commitment and ambition to action, and we need to do so together. Thank you.